Hey, good morning, SBC 205. Just to let you know, my ring light has died. Don't get the $35 ring light from Best Buy. It lasts about 4 months. So I'm going to look pretty ghastly here, and you're not going to get anything in my glasses but the reflection from the computer. But it is what it is. Okay, I wanted to give you some feedback on your ceremonial introductory speeches, real fast, just to sort of give you a rundown on where we're at. One thing that I got to get out of the way right off the bat, I've already put out a Blackboard announcement. We're still having very consistent problems with framing. There's a lot of people, probably 25 to 30% of people who did not frame their videos correctly. If I can't see your feet and if I can't see the top of your head for your next speech, you're going to lose 8 points. I have to be able to see those things in order to grade you properly. Okay, I can't tell if you're using effective eye contact or at least mimicking effective eye contact in this context. If you're framed, it cuts off the top half, 2/3 of your head. I also can't see how you're standing and where your feet are placed if you're cut off from the waist. Okay, that's just something I have to do. It's just the medium and what we're left with. Excuse me. Also, I'm going to tell you again, move your cameras off the floor. Set them on a chair, put them on a shelf. Do something, because when you're staring straight down at the floor, you're going to be feeling very inhibited with the way you gesture with your hands. Okay, so chest high or it is good, but it needs to be above your waist and you need to be back from it a little bit. The other thing is that some of you guys are stepping so far away from the camera that you're only filling the bottom third of the frame. And so when it comes to grading things like eye contact, facial expressions, I'm at a loss. I won't be able to grade those next time. I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt, but this next time I just can't keep doing that. The last thing is that some of you love ceiling fans. I have a ceiling fan in every room in my house. But if you're going to put the light fixture of a ceiling fan directly behind your head, which 2 or 3 of you did, I can't see you. Your head is just a big black blob, and I can't judge on that. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do, again, is what I've always asked you to do. Look at your videos before you submit them. Flip it around on the selfie function so you can see how you look. Ask yourself, can I see his facial? Can he see my facial expressions? Can he see whether or not I'm making eye contact? Are my feet and my head both visible in the frame? Okay, because if not, that's going to have an impact. Okay, overall, speeches were good. I appreciated that. A couple of you guys are learning that when I say something, I mean it, and I'm going to grade on it. I told you guys going in I needed to see 3 things in this speech. I needed to hear you say what your subject would be speaking on, the topic. Today, Bob Smith will be speaking on, and do it very explicitly like that. The second thing I said you needed to do was give me qualifications based on the topic that makes them qualified to speak on the topic at hand. Again, most of you did that. Third thing I needed you to do was to give me relevance to the audience. Just say explicitly, you need to listen to this because, and again, most of you did that. Not all of you, though. Some of you gave me a biographical sketch. You just ran down their history from their Wikipedia article or from wherever you found it. Didn't relate any of it to the topic they would be discussing. That had some impact on the points. Many of you, and I'm not going to say a lot, I'm just going to say many, it wasn't even anywhere near most, never gave me the topic that the subject was going to be speaking on. Okay? Many of you never told us why we should care. Okay? You never gave us relevancy at all. So when you get your rubrics, and those grades are posted, and the rubrics are posted in the grade detail area on Blackboard, if you see a question mark next to topic, relevancy, okay, that means I didn't see it. It wasn't there. Okay, and I'm going to talk to you about if you have questions about that, I'm going to give you an idea about how to do it. Biggest thing I saw from a delivery point was to release the cards. Many of you are still doing this, doing that, okay? Holding the cards with 2 hands all the time. Please stop. It's very simple. I want to see your hands by your side unless you're looking at your cards, and you can use that as an opportunity to gesture for emphasis. Okay, that is something that you need to work on because there was too many people that are doing that. It's okay. Got that. Number one, I understand you got to turn on the video machine, your camera, whatever you're using to record. Then sometimes you have to go back and get in place. That's fine. Hit it, go back, get in place, stand there for a second or two and take a deep breath and then move forward. Okay? Don't start talking while you're backing up. That is something we should not be doing. Okay. 2 cards. 3-minute speech. A couple of you were flipping cards every 15 seconds, which means you had 6 or 7 cards. I did not deduct points for that this time. I will next time. Okay, that'll be 10%. That'll be 8 points. Also, a couple of you, I made comments. Some of you were clearly reading scripts off screen. Some of you, I said you appeared to be because I wasn't 150% sure. But if you're going to, just from a logical perspective, if you're going to give me 20 dates of what somebody did and you're not going to use any note cards, you've got that information somewhere. It's very difficult to memorize something like that. So please, please don't do that. I don't want to have to call people out on it. It's too simple just to put them on note cards. Okay. Last thing I'm going to go with is, everybody, time is a go, no go. I can't fudge that. Okay. There was one of you that sat there and finished their speech at 2 minutes and 30 seconds and then stood there for 15 seconds waiting for the timer to run down. It's the time you talk, not the time on the tape. One speech went almost 6 minutes on a 3-minute speech. Okay. I give you directions and you need to follow them. Now, let's talk about the upside. Most of you got it. So if you look at that 40 to 50 range, the B's and the A's, there's a lot of people fell into that area. I was really happy with the number of 40s I gave on this speech. A lot of people from 35 to 40, which is a C, which is okay. There were some people that are going to need to improve. But here's why I give you a speech that's worth 50 points right off the bat. You didn't even have to do this speech, and you can still get a good grade in this class. The grade you got, no matter how good or how bad it is not going to determine the outcome of the semester for you. A lot of people have to learn that when I say, I need you to say, my first main point is, my second main point is. So in conclusion, when I tell you those things, I'm going to be grading on those things. Okay? A lot of people need to see that in action before it really comes home to them. And that's why I give a 50 points. The ceremonial introductory speech is only worth 50 points because you can really just ignore what I tell you and you still can get a really good grade out of the class because we have a 75 point, 100 point, and a 125 point speech coming up. Okay? I think the first one is in 2 weeks, maybe 3. Okay? Those are 200 points. That's a big chunk of the rest of the grades available in the class. Okay, and going forward between the 60 points for the 20 points each for the 3 separate outlines, and then 150 points for the final, almost all the points for this semester are still on the board. Okay, so if you didn't get the grade you wanted on this, that's fine. Going forward, the semester isn't over for you. All right, let me address if you have any questions. I posted a PDF of your rubric on the board or on Blackboard. If you have any questions about it, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things before you send me an email. Just say, why did I get this grade? Okay, number one, I'm going to ask you to go back and watch your speech. It's only going to take you 3 minutes. All right, and then I want you to see if you understand, looking at my comments while looking at your speech, if you understand what my comments meant. Okay? Now, there's every possibility I made a mistake. I am human. Sometimes I've got other, there's cars, there's dump trucks outside my house. There's the people, like 18 people in my neighborhood are getting roofs put on their houses right now. It's possible that you said, today, I will be introducing to you Bob Smith, and he will be talking about the importance of filing your taxes on time. Okay, that's possible. It does happen rarely, but it does happen occasionally. If I put a question mark saying you didn't explicitly deliver this point, okay, I need you to come back and say at what point in your speech you did. I do not have time to go back and relook 100 speeches again. Okay? So if you say you put a question mark next to did not introduce the topic, okay? Then the next thing you need to say is I did that at 1 minute and 45 seconds in the speech. I will go back to your speech, I will look at it, and I will go to 1 minute and 45 seconds, and I will say, okay, you're right, you did. There's 10 points. All right, I'm happy to do that. If you come back with, well, it should have been clear that that's what they were going to be talking about, that wasn't the grading criteria for this speech. The grading criteria was that you would be very explicit with it. Okay? And then I need, for any other questions you have, I need you to ask me explicit questions based on the rubric. Okay? I'm not really, if you come in with a question like, how do I do better on my next speech? How do I improve my grade? My response is going to be, you need to watch my lectures. Okay? So if you have a specific question, hey, you said my hands, I needed to gesture more purposely. What does that mean? Okay? That I can answer. Okay? But what do I do better? Read your rubric, watch the lectures. Okay? Last thing is, again, I don't have the time to go back through and find, I think I really literally had 96 speeches that I graded. I don't have time to go back through all of those and all the rubrics and everything else. When you email me concerning your speech, please include your section number in your email so I can go to your stuff quickly and easily. If you don't, I'm immediately going to hit reply as soon as I see the email and say, I need your section number. Okay, because I have to dig it out through Blackboard, and that's just time consuming. Okay, last thing. And I tell this story after the ceremonial introductory speech now. For the last 2 or 3 semesters, I had a student that did not get the grade he wanted on the ceremonial introductory speech, and he came back and he said, hey, listen, I didn't deserve this grade. And I said, well, please bring your rubric back and we'll discuss it. So he said, I introduced the topic that they would be speaking on. And they were discussing Madame Curie. He was introducing Marie Curie. And he said, well, clearly she's at this conference. You know, he did say it was very creative, and I liked it, that she was addressing a conference of international sciences and radiology. And he said, clearly she's going to be talking about radiology. And I went, really? Is she? Maybe she's talking about safety features because she did die of cancer, and her casket is lead lined because she's so radioactive. And he said, well, anybody would know that. And I went, well, that wasn't the grading criteria. And we went around and around for about 20 minutes. And finally I looked at him and I said, hey, listen, what do you do for a living outside of this? And he said, well, I'm an instructor. And my jaw just sort of fell on the floor. And I said, you're a teacher? And he said, yeah. And I said, what do you teach? And he said, construction science. I'm just taking this class because I want to improve my public speaking skills. I said, okay, let me ask you a question. If you told a student to put rebar every 12 inches, and you go back and you look and he put rebar every 18, and he looked at you and said, I didn't really think that was necessary. I know that's what you told us, but it's really not necessary. What would you do? And he said, I'd fail him. And I said, well, guess what? He then, you could see the light bulb go on over his head. He got it, got an A out of the course before it was all over with. Recovered from a kind of dicey ceremonial introductory speech grade, and then went on to improve and did really well. That's what I'm going to tell you right now. I tell you to do these things explicitly, to say. I'm not going to give you a script, but I tell you the things you need to say to indicate and keep you on track so you get everything I need. Okay? I will be telling you in the future to say, my first main point is, my second main point is, my third main point is, and in conclusion, because those are signposts to keep you on track and keep your speeches moving forward and hitting all the buttons I need you to hit. Okay? All right. So again, specific questions. Make sure you include your section number. If you feel like I gave you a 0 on a section with a question mark to indicate that it didn't happen, and it did, tell me at what point in time in that, give me the time, be specific. Hey, at 43 seconds, I introduced the topic, and I will go back and I will look at it. Okay? There'll be a lecture coming out tomorrow. Yes, another part of our Saturday lecture series. my weeks have gotten really busy with everything that's going on and trying to deal with it. I'm also going to have an announcement next week about when I'm going to be back on campus. So if you want to see me face to face, you can. I still will do Zoom appointments with you. And I also, clearly, obviously, free to do emails with you. Okay? All right. That's it. Stay safe, be well, and we will see you soon.